Welcome to our summit, Amanda.
Thank you. It is my voice right away. It is an honor to be here, and I will share why I lose my voice during our presentation.
Well, we're both excited to hear what you're going to share with us today. I know our audience is going to get a tremendous amount of value from it. So go ahead and take it away.
All right, so I'm going to share my screens. All right, well, first of all, thank you again for asking me to join you on this AI Summit. I am so excited to share what I've learned over the years and specifically how AI has completely changed the direction of my business, and I am so grateful to it. So I want to share some really fun ways and effective ways of getting better conversions using AI and saving yourself a bunch of time. So this is how I use AI to turn YouTube into a 24/7 perfect lead automation system. And even, you can see the little wheelchair on there, even with limited energy, and I'll explain why in a moment. Yes, it's true. I was in a coma. So in 2016, I developed pneumonia in both of my lungs, and in order to keep me alive, my local hospital had to intubate me, so put the breathing machine in me, medically put me into an induced coma and paralyze me so I could transfer safely to a hospital with an ICU. And that was supposed to only last for a couple of days while they moved me safely and got me positioned in the ICU. Unfortunately, my lungs completely gave out. I developed what's called acute respiratory distress syndrome, and they wouldn't function on their own. And it took 3 weeks for my lungs to get strong enough to come back. I was told I was given about a 20% chance of survival. So I'm really, really happy that I made it through. One of the life-saving devices that helped me survive was that oxygen machine, the ventilator. Unfortunately, the way it works is when your lungs collapse and fail, they become hard. And the machine pushes against this hard muscle, creating all kinds of scarring. So I was lucky enough to wake up. Unfortunately, because of the way they saved me, I also woke up as a severely disabled lung person. And so that's just a lifetime of disability that I had to learn to get used to. I also, when I woke up, I was completely immobile. I had to learn how to breathe, how to eat, drink, move, walk, speak. Like I had to learn everything all over again. It was like being a baby, but then understanding and remembering it. Not something I would recommend anybody going through, but if you get that opportunity to do it, do your best, right? One of the really interesting things that happened, however, during this time, so during the 3-week coma, but also the months that followed with my recovery, when I was finally strong enough to get back on my computer, I kind of expected my businesses to just be completely dead. Like I was really well known. I'd been on Radio Disney and so forth, teaching children about money, like helping parents raise money smart kids. And I also had a business helping cake decorators find fun ways to create fun cake decorating ideas. And so I figured those would just be obsolete because I needed to constantly put effort in, right, in order to receive the sales. And I was shocked when I logged into my stats and I saw the YouTube videos that I had just randomly posted. I'd accidentally done a couple of things correctly, and the algorithm kept sending me perfect leads to these different businesses, as well as to my book sales on Amazon, as well as ad revenue from Google Ads. And I was earning a couple $100s a month on autopilot. No effort from myself needed. Now, it wasn't a ton of money. It didn't pay the bills, but it sure got me excited, especially as a disabled lung person, because it meant even though I was told I could never work again, not with the condition that I have, and you can hear it in my voice as we go on, I'll sound more and more like Minnie Mouse. But I knew that the only way to move forward for me financially, to help be part of my family financially, was to be an entrepreneur, and I needed to learn YouTube better. I had needed to figure out, well, what was working and, how did I accidentally go viral on one video and send perfect leads on other videos, and yet the majority of my videos just flopped and didn't do anything. So I spent the next couple of years studying the algorithm and sales funnels and understanding how your perfect lead gets warmed up, builds that know, like, and trust, and wants to buy from you because you offer the solution, right? And so I learned all that, but it was still taking me so long to do everything. My brain is 100% good and it's just like boom, 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 boom. I want to do this and this and this. But my body kept saying, Amanda, you need to slow down. I can't do this. And I would have some good days, a couple of hours, and then many bad days afterwards to recover each time. Even during this summit, I had to choose today, and I'm doing another session with you guys. And I had to choose days when the air quality would be well enough for me to actually present. AI came into the picture in 2019, and I was absolutely thrilled because now I had an assistant who could do all the hard work, and I just had to organize it and be the strategic mind behind it, but then get it to create all the copy, all the images. It's absolutely incredible. It even helps me with the editing of my videos. It's amazing. Evergreen systems saved my business, and AI gave me the strength to actually run it. So that's my story in a nutshell. So why YouTube, right? It's the world's second largest search engine, first of all, and it never sleeps. It's not like Facebook where you post something and it drops down in the feed and then it just kind of disappears into the ether and nobody ever finds your post again unless they're specifically searching your feed, right? And the same goes with all the other social media platforms. But YouTube, it's not just a social media platform, it's a search engine, and it's owned by the largest search engine in the world, Google. And so that means you get double the power when you know how to rank your YouTube videos to promote your business, right? That's the whole point of this, is to promote your business. Then Google will actually promote your business for you for free and even pay you for it. Like, you can't get better than that, right? So if you do a search on YouTube and a video will come up because they know that people really enjoy having video feedback. And then it will also choose YouTube videos over any other kind of videos out there because it owns YouTube. So it's keeping people on their own platform, and then they get to earn more of their own ad revenue. So your videos will get discovered for years because it's a search engine. It's not just a temporary thing, as long as you create content that is evergreen. So we'll talk more about that in a moment. And then you're building a communication, but you're building a relationship with your leads, your perfect leads, because your videos are like filters. You set them up in such a way, and this is where the AI content comes in, so that you're only attracting your perfect lead and not just aiming to get your video to go viral and earn ad revenue. I'm going to share some really interesting stats about that in a moment because I've done both, and it's going to shock you. Totally shocked me. So one video, just one video, can lead to hundreds of people and perfect leads for your business. And so here's the truth. Like, why do most of the creators burn out? And I am not suggesting at all that you become a YouTube creator, because then you're hoping to get sponsorships or earn ad revenue, and you're fighting a big fight against all these other YouTubers. So it's a really hard battle. Now, is it impossible? Of course not, because you can see, there's Rosanna Pansino and Mr. Beast. It can work, right? But then you're also relying solely on one platform to run your business. See, I use YouTube as a tool, but you use it as a tool to collect leads for your business. So what they do is they post random posts or random videos, the content treadmill, constantly having to pump out a new video for each week, right? There's no strategy, and that equals no traction. So the key is we create searchable, binge-worthy, so like Netflix content, right? To build that know, like, and trust so that you become the, unequivocal, you are the solution they need. So when AI changed everything for me, like, I already had a system, I understood a little bit about YouTube. I'd spent those years after my coma to figure out not only the SEO, the search engine optimization, the YouTube algorithm would know what my videos were about and who to promote it to, but I balanced that also by learning and really understanding how do you keep viewers engaged, but not just watching all the way through to the end, also warming them up so that they want to buy from you, right? We needed to balance both. And then AI came in, like I said, and I didn't have the energy before it came in. Well, I still don't have the energy. But AI took over a huge chunk of the work that I needed to get done. And that was such a relief because my brain was still active and it knew all these things, and it would hit me emotionally really hard knowing that I wasn't physically able to do what I needed to do to get things done, and really caused a lot of mental grief. So when AI came on the scene and I started dabbling, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is the tool that I've been looking for. And I have gotten so much done in the last couple of years that I could never have done without it. So I'm really grateful to AI. So again, before I had my coma, didn't have the energy to do it. SEO and engagement equals warming up your leads, but AI helps me actually write, plan, structure, create all the content, right? So it's actually just my invisible virtual assistant who never gets sick or has lung issues. And today, what I'm going to show you, we're going to do a couple of demonstrations. I'm going to show you how to create content using AI. I'm going to show you how I plan my video funnels, because I use funnels series to create that binge-worthy Netflix-style system to get my leads into my funnels, how I write high-converting scripts, not just scripts for engagement or entertainment, but converting scripts, how I promote with ease. That's a huge one, because that's a huge one, trust me. And I'm going to do some live demos with a couple of AI tools, custom GPTs that I've created. And I might be giving something away near the end, but I will let you know in a moment, and how you can then grab those to create your own. All right, so step one, we need to start with SEO research using AI, of course, right? We want to start with what our audience is already searching for. And I like to use tools like the YouTube and Google autocomplete. Do you know what that is? When you type into Google, let's just use one of my videos, how to bake a cake. So people would type in how to bake a cake, and then a drop down would come up. And the drop down are auto suggestions that Google has already realized most people, when they're searching for how to bake a cake, are looking specifically for these kind of things. And so it'll come up with how to bake a cake at home, or how to bake a cake from scratch, or how to bake a cake for beginners, right? That kind of thing. So we can use that tool. YouTube and Google both do that. You type your main key phrase and you watch the drop down come up, and you take note and you put those aside. Then you do the next step, which is head over to something like VidIQ. There are other tools as well, and it will show you how much traffic, how many people are actually searching for that key phrase, right? And then is there a lot of competition or not, so that you can get a gauge of, do I have a chance to rank above them quickly? And so what you want to look for is any key phrase in your niche that has at least 1,000 searches per month. All right. Again, we're not needing millions. Millions are great, but they have to be targeted. And so low competition, if it's 1,000 to like 10,000, and if it's more than 10,000 searches per month, then you can totally go ahead and try to go after those medium and high competition, because we have strategies in place to become the authority for them. And so the keywords are for your perfect lead, specifically what they're searching for. So with that, how to bake a cake, that would tell you that's a person who is looking for a cake recipe, cake step-by-step demonstration, like specifically like that. All right. And I'll share why. I'm going to explain that to you in a moment as well. It all makes sense. Before we move on, I'd want to know, so who is your perfect lead? Like, what is your audience already looking for? Write that, and then I want you to, after this presentation, to go and check and see if there are people looking for it and how many. Would it help you if you knew exactly what your perfect lead was looking for? It definitely helps me. All right. And then the next step is we want to build a funnel, not just a video, but a funnel of videos. Okay. Your content should be, like I said, a Netflix binge-worthy session. All right. But we're going to make it even more intriguing. Think about this. So your favorite TV show, right? You watch it, it's great. And at the end, it's like, and then next week or in the next episode, this and this and this is going to happen. And now you have to watch it. Or there's like a cliffhanger and you have to watch it to see what happens, right? That's how they create a binge worthy. And then at the beginning of each series video, you'll also get like a little recap of the last episode to remind you of that cliffhanger or that thing that happened that is now going to be solved. So they are prepping you not only to watch the next video, but to make sure you watch the entire video by doing that. So we do that in our content marketing on YouTube. And we do that by first addressing their problem that they were searching for. In that video, we give them the solution to that problem. It's really important we give the solution because they need to feel satisfied, right? But then we want to hint at the next natural problem that comes up because of that solution. Let me give you an example. So for how to bake a cake, right? They search how to bake a cake, and then they come across my video, which teaches them how to bake a cake, right? Simple. But then I add in that next natural problem. It's like, okay, you've baked a cake, but what icing should you use? Right? And so it's like, but don't worry, because in the next video, I'll show you my favorite mocha icing recipe that goes so perfectly with this case. It's delicious. Right? And that makes them want to watch it and so on. So you create a series where it makes sense for them and they honestly feel incomplete if they don't keep watching. So, and this triggers the algorithm because now they see that the whole video is being watched. And the really cool part is that when they see who is watching your whole video, who is giving you likes, who is leaving a comment, who is sharing, then it understands that's the kind of person who really appreciates this video content. I should promote it to these kind of people. So you're training the algorithm to find your perfect leads. It's absolutely an incredible cycle. And then, of course, we use AI to help us map out the order of our series. So I'm going to do a quick demo for you and show you. Now, let me just make sure that you can see the demo. I'm going to have to stop sharing and share differently so that I can share that screen. Here. Okay, so now you should see the screen here. Let me just make this bigger. Okay. So you should see my Evergreen 10-part video series planner. So let's create highly bingeable 10-part video series that not only promotes your product, but also keeps viewers watching and helps them take meaningful action towards their goals, which pushes your videos to more people on autopilot, right? So what I did is, this is ChatGPT. I coded in what I know works for my videos and what I know works to warm up my leads to then become those buyers, right? And I also coded it so that the algorithm would get all the SEO information it needs, all the metadata, so that it satisfies both the SEO and the viewer. And then we're mapping out a series. So I'm going to click start. And awesome. Let's kick things off. Define your video series. Before diving in, I need a few details. What is the main topic or focus of your video series? So let's choose, well, we can choose cake decorating. Cake, baking, and decorating. Since that's the example I was giving you earlier, we'll stick with that example for this particular one. And then, so that's the main focus or topic. So then just do 1, cake decorating, 2. Oh, and a nice tip here. Don't even worry about spelling. Honestly, I type so much in ChatGPT, my spelling, everything is atrocious, and that's okay.
It's amazing how it understands it, right?
Right. Yeah. And it saves you time to not go back. The only thing is that then when you start chatting to people, you have to remember that it's not auto-correcting for you. But ChatGPT understands. It's so clever. It understands. You should see some of the conversations I have. It's like gobbledygook, but it gets it. So that's just a little tip to save you time. So who is my ideal audience? I'm going to show you something. I want you to figure out the rest. So if you know who your audience is, you can type it in, but ChatGPT is so clever and it understands the coding I put into this, that it is now going to choose the right kind of lead for this. And I'm going to say, is there a specific transformation? I'm going to add that up here. I'm going to say, I sell a cake decorating book, just as an example, right? It could be a course, it could be whatever. It could be an affiliate product. And so then we're going to hit enter and we're going to let it figure things out. Great start. Since your focus is cake baking and decorating, and you're selling a cake decorating book, I'll fill in the rest based on what would most likely drive binge-worthy interest and align with your product. So let's refine. So your series, cake baking and decorating for beginners to intermediate bakers. There, it's figured out an audience. Aspiring home bakers and hobbyists, mostly women between the age, and want step-by-step guidance to level up their cake decorating techniques to wow-worthy finishes. That is so true. It's amazing how spot on this is, Tony and Craig? So their desired transformation, by the end of the series, they'll go from a simple home bakes, right, to confidently decorating cakes that look professionally made with techniques straight from your book, right? The whole purpose and the whole way it's set up is that each video not only is the natural next step to watch your next video, there's a secondary natural next step, and that is to get whatever you're selling. So each video is another opportunity to make it's absolutely amazing. And yeah, I'll share another thing that's really cool in a second. So step 2, share the keyword research. So now I am going to skip going through all the keyword research. I happen to know which ones work well. But what you would do at this stage is this is where you go to the Google and you YouTube autocomplete. You write down the ones that come up. You head over to VidIQ or whatever other research platform you use for your keyword research. And then you find which ones have high search volume, low competition. And then you pop that information into here. You can literally just copy and paste the whole entire thing. That will save you so much time. I used to go through it individually and figure out which one makes sense, which one doesn't make sense. Because when you start doing your research, you'll get some things that make sense and some things that don't. And it takes a while to sort through it. Now, just literally type in how to bake a cake at, using VidIQ. It comes up with 50 other key phrases. I grab those and I pop them all in here, and it will sort out the ones that make the most sense for your perfect lead. It'll save you so much time. All right, so let's say how to bake a cake, how to bake a cake at home, I'll say for beginners. It's going to understand, right? How to level a cake, how to crumb coat. If you're not sure what these are, they're interesting. You go look it up. You find some on my channel. You have to look really far back though, because it's no longer what I have on my channel. A cake, how to ice and decorate a cake, decorate a cake, etc. Please figure out the most logical key phrases my perfect lead would use. And again, if you're actually just dumping it in, then you don't need to talk to the AI. It will already understand. But it's so clever that if you don't have the information, you can actually already just jumpstart and get an idea. And of course, this is the Jumpstart Summit for AI, so that's perfect. So I was doing a quick search. I apologize. So this is where my little disability comes in. This is a salt inhaler, so just give me a second. And that will help clear my lungs. All right, so here's a refined list of high impact keywords that your ideal audience, beginner to intermediate cake bakers, are likely searching for. I've grouped them together logically by theme and focused on both high volume general terms and valuable long tail phrases. So this is the core keywords: how to bake a cake at home, cake baking for beginners, how to bake a cake from scratch, how to bake a moist cake, and so on. And it shows even where it got the information. Leveling and assembly keywords, like how to level a cake, so how to keep it nice and smooth, or level, literally. How to crumb coat, ice, frost, and so on. I'm not going to read them all out. Sorry about that. And then the cake decorating part of it, and so on. So it has already come up with keywords that would make sense to our perfect lead for this series. All right, so you've got tools, essential baking tools, trends, easy fondant cake tutorials. All right, then it's sharing why these work. They span high volume general terms for maximum reach. They include mid-volume specific tutorials for your perfect lead, right? The ones who are specifically looking for what you have to offer. They capture trending techniques. Again, we only want to capture trends when it comes to trends that will be a trend long-term, which I realize is an oxymoron in itself. But something that might come up that wasn't used before, like crumb coating your cake, once that becomes a trend, because it's so handy, it will remain. So you always want to be careful not to do a trend that's going to disappear. We want our videos to be evergreen, right? And crumb coating, by the way, is a thin layer of icing first that you let set before you do your icing so you don't scrape all the crumbs through. There you go. Now you know. All right, so the next step is our keyword application. We're going to use the keywords to shape out the 10-part series. We're going to identify the top topics, the big idea phase for the first section. Then we're going to have a mid-tier how-to content, which creates that transformation for them. And then we're going to end with a niche or topic trend-focused themes to inspire action, right? That's the whole idea. So we want to encourage them to buy that book, right? All right, so sounds great. Oops. Oh, and I just corrected my spelling. Don't do that. Let's do this. Okay, here we go. And while that populates, I'll have a sip of my tea. Okay, so awesome. Now we're on step 3, creating the bingeable series. Look at this. Okay, so this is the video series. The overarching is from beginner baker to cake artist. All right, so we've got 3 videos for the big idea. How to bake the perfect cake at home, even if you're a beginner. And then it gives us the keywords that we want to focus on, and it tells us why it works. ChatGPT is great at explaining why it does things, which is very helpful as an assistant when you're like, well, why did you do that, right? Then top 5 cake baking mistakes beginners make. Mistakes are always really great to grab attention because they're like, I don't want to do those. And then how to fix them because we need to satisfy. Essential tools for cake baking and decorating at home. Then the transformation section of the videos, how to level, stack, and fill a cake like a pro. The ultimate crumb cake and frosting tutorial, smooth finish every time. See how it's giving what they're looking for and the outcome they want and desire. Easy buttercream piping techniques for beginners. And decorate a naked cake with style. No fondant needed. Perfect. And then the taking action part. And a naked cake, by the way, is just the way you stack your cake in layers. You've got icing in between, but there's no icing on it or around it. Okay. And so these ones are whimsical cake decorating ideas that wow with minimal tools. How to resize a cake recipe for any pan. No math headaches. That's a really good one.
Oh, I love that one. That's the one I want right there. Yeah.
But they're so true because I would have people constantly ask me for sizing charts or different measurements, things like that, right? For, metric or imperial. And then from hobby to hustle, how to start a cake side business from home. So, it's amazing. And then if you needed to adjust anything for this series, for example, I might take the start a side business one out if I was focusing on just the baking recipes and the cake decorating. I might create a follow-up series on how to start a side hustle, that kind of thing. So you talk to it like your own virtual assistant. And if you don't have a GPT that's already created for you like this, literally just keep talking to it until it gives you the output that you want. All right, and then it's even given us an optional hook for the series. From beginner baker to cake artist, 10 steps to cake confidence. Isn't that cool? That's exciting, isn't it? So let's continue on. The next step is to write a script that converts. Remember, we want to make sure the script for the videos are SEO friendly, right? We want the algorithm to know who is this video for and what is it about so we can categorize it and find our perfect lead. But we also need to make sure they walked all the way through, which also triggers the algorithm, but more importantly, warms up our lead into a hot buyer. We really need to satisfy. Never create what's called like clickbait, where you're not satisfying what you're promising. Your thumbnail, your title, they need to be, something that catches their attention. But right inside that video, you need to answer them and make sure they realize I'm in the right place. I'm going to be satisfied. And then, yes, I am satisfied. Oh, and now there's this other problem. I'm going to walk you through my script that I use. All right. So your video, it's not just content. It is a funnel. And it's so cool because you could use, for example, if we made a series with 10 videos, you could make a 10-part video series as your lead magnet. They can opt in for the series, even though, and I know this is a weird concept, even though they could actually just search it out on your channel and find the videos, people like things to be easy for them. So if you set it up as a series that they send every day and email out to them with the link to that next video in the series, they can still binge watch. They can still go for faster at their own pace, but they get that convenience. And you can always add in little extras that make it even more worth. Like, for example, with this, I could say, sign up for this 10-part cake decorating series, and I'll also send you that measurement chart, right? That kind of thing. All right, so you want to use the Evergreen video script that I'm going to show you in a moment, because it's going to hook instantly. It's going to tell a story. We're going to build trust, which is super important, and it will help us rank in search, which then helps us naturally. And that's what we want to do. So here we go. This is the Evergreen video script template that I use and that I teach my students in my program. So let me walk you through really quickly what it is, and then we're going to test out the GPT that I created for you, or so that you can see, or for it, so that you can see how it works. So we start with a hook, and it's only maximum 10 seconds. And that hook needs to make sure they realize they're in the right place. It needs to match the title and the thumbnail and be intriguing to make sure. So for example, how to bake a cake for beginners, right? If, let's just say that was my video title, and maybe on the thumbnail, it was like, person with eggs and flour and kind of face. And then you come in and you're like, if you're struggling to bake a cake, I'm going to show you how to bake a cake for a beginner. And in just a moment, and so that's that open loop you see, L1. I'm also going to show you how you can make sure that all your cake comes out, nice and flat and smooth. I don't know. I'm thinking on the fly here. Then you would go into a very quick intro. We don't want to waste time with massive intros. They just need to know, why should I learn from you? That's all you need to share. It's like, I have been decorating cakes literally all my life, and and you would say like your name and such, but you want to just make it relatable. My cakes have won first place and second place prizes in local fairs for years, right there. That's a relatability that makes sense why. And it's true, they have. All right. And then the pre-CTA. So CTA stands for call to action. And I said 3 because it links to the last one that you see on the screen there before the closing of the video. The pre-CTA is to kind of already get them intrigued to take you up on whatever it is that you're offering. We want them to look in the description and click the link, or look in the comments and ask for the link to whatever it is. So if my call to action, my main call to action was to get this book, my pre-call to action could be, and I'm going to show you how to bake my favorite cake. But if you'd like to know the exact recipe, just comment recipe below and I'll send you the link to it, right? So you're getting them on your email list. A quick tip for you on that: in your comment, make sure you write a comment and you pin it to the top, so it's the top comment. And also in your description, in the first 2 lines, 3 possibly, but at least in the first 2 lines, make sure you have a link in that pinned comment and in that top 2 lines, so they can easily click on it without having to click on see more. You don't want to hide a link down underneath. It's called above the fold, and that comes from newspapers. They were folded and folded in half, and that was the above the fold before you flipped it over and then opened it up. So that was the most important part because it required the least amount of effort from your perfect lead. So that's a tip for you. Then you go into your main content. You need to share. So in this case, if I were to separate the content in 2 pieces, I would maybe in the first content piece say, these are the things you need, set your oven to this. These are the ingredients. These are the measurements. And then in the second content, I might actually show them mixing it together. All right. So you space it out. Then you have a call to action. These ones are to trigger the algorithm. So after we do the temperatures and the things like that, and maybe I give, you need to set your oven at 150 degrees Celsius, which is 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Then my call to action could be something as far as giving a like. It's like, was that handy that I gave both metric and imperial? If so, give me a like, that kind of thing. Make it related to the video and that they're talking to you, not just, if you like my video, give me a like. people don't want to, like, they have to have a reason. And if it's because they're communicating with you, they're more likely to do it. So make it related to the actual content. And then we move into our open loop that keeps them watching to the end of the video, because we want to remind them of that one that we said in the beginning. So in the beginning, we gave an open loop, which was like, I believe it was, and I'll show you how to make sure your cake is completely level once it's baked, kind of thing, right? So the open loop in this one, the reminder, the OL1R, would be, and don't forget, I'm about to show you exactly how to put the cake together, but I'm going to share a special tip in just a moment that's going to make sure every cake comes out nice and level and cooks evenly all the way through, right? Something that makes them go, oh, I need to know when that is, like what that is, but don't tell them at the end of the video, because then they might just scroll to the end of the video. I keep going this direction. I should go this direction for you. Scroll to the end of the video to see what that is. And we don't want them to do that. We want to build up that know, like, and trust along the way. Then we deliver the second piece of content, and then we do a second call to action. This one is to get some sort of engagement again. You know, like, so after I've done the recipe, have you ever put all your effort into a cake, baked it, and then you forgot the sugar? You know, leave me a comment below if you've ever done that, like done that, right? And again, you're just trying to get them to engage. So that's what those two in between ones are, is for the algorithm. The last main call to action is to go get your book. So we start with the open loop closer, which I would then say, and so a tip to get your cake to bake through beautifully and consistently, take an icing rose tip, and again, they would know what that is, and set it in the center of your cake before you pour the batter. It honestly works. And if you don't know what that is, feel free to look it up another time. And then so I've satisfied that. So they could now leave. I don't want them to leave yet because I need them to binge watch, right? So immediately after I close that, you know, and as soon as you know exactly how to bake your cake and keep it nice and smooth, you need to have that done so that your icing goes on so nice and easy and you don't have to like level your cakes and all that. But if it doesn't work for you, you say something along the lines of, and don't worry though, if it doesn't come out level, because I'm going to show you exactly how to level that in just a second. Again, we're not saying when, we're just saying in a second. It's generic because we need them to watch all the way through. The last CTA is, I hope, like, and again, you don't want to give triggers that a video is ending. So you say, don't forget, I've got the whole measuring guide, and again, I'm losing my thoughts here, measuring guide and my entire cake decorating book that gives you the recipe, the icings, everything. Make sure you click that link and get it. And then maybe you have like a freebie or something, right? A reason for them to go. And then you go straight into that next open loop close and you say, so on that leveling note, let me show you exactly how I level my cakes so that I don't waste all the cake, right? Hop over here and I'll meet you over here and I'll show you exactly how I level them without wasting all the scraps. So it's all together. Don't worry if that was a lot, because again, Tony and Craig have put this series together so that I believe it's, if you're a VIP, then you can keep rewatching these and learn from them over and over. But let me pop in right now. I'm going to have to stop sharing and then share the other screen again. And we're going to let AI do that. And that is the coolest thing, right? So video script, here we go. I believe you can see that. Evergreen Video Script Master. You can see that, right, Tony?
Yep, absolutely.
All right, so this GPT says, I craft engaging YouTube video scripts in a natural, interactive style with a start feature. So we're going to click start. Now it says with the start feature. I need to change the wording on that because that's kind of redundant. But anyway, great. Let's get started. I'm always updating these as we go. First, what's the video topic you'd like me to create the outline for? For example, how to grow on YouTube with 0 subscribers. So that sounds good, right? Beginner's guide to investing in your 30s. I like that it thinks I'm in my 30s. All right, we will continue on with the cake decorating idea. So we're going to do a video about how to bake a cake from scratch for beginners. All right, and then pop that in there, and then it's going to ask us. So we're creating it for that. Next, I need your help with the main SEO key phrase and any long tail key phrases that you want to rank for. So the information that you already did, we want to make sure we're putting that into the script. So how to bake a cake how to bake cake for beginners, cake decorating. Oops. Oh, again, don't need to fix my spelling. It's so hard not to fix the spelling. Cake decorating, apparently. Cake recipe there, and cake book, right? Because if they're looking for a cake, maybe a cake recipe book, to be more specific. Then the next thing, a little tip is if you need to press enter, do shift enter, and then it won't send it. You can add more stuff. All right, so here's an example of okay, yes. So I'm just going to send that. Go ahead. I'm getting ahead of myself because I know what it's going to ask. So here's what we've got. The main key phrase is how to bake a cake, and these are the long tails. What type of content do you want to include in the video? A step-by-step cake recipe, basic decorating tips. All right, so vanilla sponge cake recipe. All right. There we go. Perfect. We'll make a sponge cake. That's your main call to action for the video. To buy my cake recipe and decorating book. All right, so that is the main call to action. Perfect. And the last question, what's the next video topic, right? How to make mocha icing. There, we're going to give it that because it understands we're trying to create a binge-worthy. Okay, perfect. We'll guide the viewer from baking their first vanilla sponge cake into the next challenge, how to make mocha icing. Here's a recap, right? Are you ready? Yes, please. Okay, because that way you can always add anything that you think of. So it's going to give you a thumbnail idea, a title, some snippet ideas for promotions, and then the full thing. So here are some video title ideas that are SEO friendly and click worthy. How to bake a cake from scratch, perfect for beginners, right? The targets. Or easy vanilla sponge cake recipe you'll never forget. Or bake your first cake step by step, no experience needed, right? And so on. I won't read them all. And then some thumbnail ideas, golden vanilla sponge cake being pulled out of the oven, right? That could be and then first cake, start here, right? So those are really good. And then a little video snippet description. Want to learn how to bake cake from scratch? Even if you've never touched an oven? In this beginner-friendly tutorial, I'll walk you through the easiest vanilla sponge cake recipe ever with simple steps and tips to get it right the first time and so on. So here is the script. Watch this. Want to bake a cake from scratch, but you have no idea where to start? I've got you covered with the easiest vanilla sponge cake recipe made for beginners just like you, right? Isn't that nice? It satisfied, yes, I'm in the right place, and it hooks them because they're like, yeah, I need it for beginners, right? And then here's the open loop. I'll share a decorating trick later on that makes any cake look professionally styled, even if you've never held a piping bag before or even know what that is, that kind of thing. And then, hey, I help beginner bake and so on. It would be related to who you are and what your credentials are. And then drop the word bake in the comments if you want my free checklist for beginner cake tools. There you go. It already came up with something. If you had something specific, you would then talk to it and say, actually, this is what I have. And then the main content, let's start baking, right? So preheat the oven, gather the ingredients, and so on. Then the call to action. If you're already picturing your first homemade cake coming out of the oven, give this video a like. I was right where you are when I started, and this recipe changed everything for me. So it's like communicating. It's communicating for the like rather than just asking for a like. Then a reminder, remember, I've got that decorating tip coming up soon. It's one thing that made my cakes go from okay to wow, right? Then the second part is like let the cake cool fully, level the top, crumb coat, and so on. And then if you're loving this and want more beginner-friendly baking tips, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. I've got a whole series coming up to take cakes to the next level. So it's related, right? And it's an action that the algorithm likes. And then we're closing the open loop. Okay, so here's that pro tip. Use the back of a spoon or a butter knife to swirl your frosting in circles. It creates a beautiful texture instantly, no piping bag needed. And it came up with that, right? If you had the tip, you would just give it to it and it would write it for you nicely. And then the next problem, now that your cake looks amazing, you're probably wondering, but what icing should I use that actually tastes good with this cake? And I'll show you that in a moment, or I'll show you that next, something like that. And yes, it's mocha. So I wouldn't actually put in the yes, it's mocha, because then you're already answering it. We want to keep them questioning, right? So AI is not perfect. You can talk to it and adjust. Want all my cake recipes and decorating tips in one place? Grab the cake recipe and decorating book, and then so on. It goes to the links. And then we close that second open loop. Learning how to make a mocha icing is the next step. And that's exactly what I'm going to help you with over here. Let's get going. This is what we're tackling next, And so that points, right? Isn't that cool? How cool is that? We just wrote a script in a couple of seconds.
Wow,
Pretty
it's really,
amazing,
really, it's
right?
really cool.
Yeah. All right. Let me go back. And so that was how to create the content using AI. And what I did, I happened to list it out exactly the way that works for the algorithm. Like I programmed it all for you. But if you use a system, you can totally take the time to kind of create your own GPTs. And I'm going to show you how we do that in a moment. All right. So here we go. First of all, which would you rather have? Option A, that Evergreen video script GPT that I use. If you want that, choose option A. Or option B, an AI tool to boost your email sales. Now, I'll give you a hint. That is related to the second session that I am doing here with Craig and Tony. I believe it's in session 4, isn't it? Right? When we talk
Yes.
more about sales and marketing. So that is related to that. So let me know in the comments, which GPT would you prefer to have? And let's see which one you get. Okay. Step 4, we need to promote like a pro without the overwhelm, okay? So let me just move this out of the way so I can read this. So AI turns one video into a whole promotion campaign, right? Social media posts, thumbnails and images, blog posts. You already saw a little bit about the thumbnail and image ideas that came out, right? Emails, shorts and reels. And this, do you know what this equals? Backlinks, so that YouTube will push your video for you. So a backlink is literally the link to your video on a site other than YouTube, whether it's coming from an email or from blogs or from articles, just any other site. Social media are huge. We're sending triggers to the algorithm that, hey, this video actually brings more people to our platform. We like videos that bring people to our platform because we earn money when people come on our platform. So we should probably promote your video for you so that even more people will talk about it and bring more people back. So it's like helping, win, 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 right? We want the audience to win, the algorithm to win, ourselves to win, and YouTube to win. All right. So let me quickly show you this one. And again, I'll have to switch. And we won't take too much time on this one. I just want to quickly show how quick and easy it is with AI. There, social promos. So this is the Evergreen Social Promos Master, and it creates social media posts to promote your YouTube videos. All right, so let me quickly grab, you won't see this, but I'll quickly find it. YouTube, and I'm just going to find my how to bake a cake video so we can have it do promotions for that. There. All right. Oh, wow. I rank number 1 right now. This video has actually been on, let me go back here, has been on YouTube since 2011, and it still ranks number 1.
Wow,
Pretty
that's
cool.
amazing.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So cool. All right. Let me see if I am on the one that you
That is
guys see.
fantastic.
Here we go.
14 years. That's great. Love that.
Yeah. It went totally viral. It's got over 6 million views. But I'm going to share why that's not nearly as impressive as it could be in just a second. All right, so let's get started. Could you tell me a bit more? I'm simply going to fill this in with not explaining too much. That's the video I want to do. It's called How to Bake a Cake from Scratch for Beginners. There, and we're going to see what kind of posts it creates. So the idea is to give enough content for each platform that the platforms are happy for you posting it, and to make the reader intrigued to go watch your video. That's the whole purpose. So thanks. I see you've shared a video titled How to Bake a Cake from Scratch for Beginners. And assuming you'd like to create evergreen social media promos for this video. So the promo goals: to attract new bakers or casual home cooks, emphasize simplicity and approachability, and encourage them to watch it, right? That's what we want. So here's an Instagram post. Never baked a cake before? No worries. This beginner-friendly guide walks you step by step through baking a delicious cake from scratch. No fancy tools or experience needed, and so on. And then it gives the link to where they can watch it. And then it gives some hashtags for that particular post. Same with Facebook. So it creates a Facebook post for you, gives an X or a Twitter post for you, a Pinterest description and post, and so on. And then you can ask it to write a blog post and so on. So that's pretty cool. It will write all the promo copy that you need to put it on all the different social media to create those backlinks for your videos. Cool, huh? I'll stop sharing that and we'll head back over to the main presentation again. Are you excited by that?
Absolutely. That's fantastic.
Isn't that cool?
Absolutely.
I guess so much time. The amount of time it took me just to write each social post to get those backlinks, because you can't just post the same thing. Algorithms don't like that. They had to be different and unique, and AI just makes it so quick and easy. It's amazing. All right, so here we go. AI is my virtual assistant, who again never gets tired or needs, their inhaler. And so this is like AI is my extra pair of lungs, literally, and my energy multiplier. It saves me hours of work. It feels like me because I've trained it to speak like I speak, right? To follow the strategies I have trained it to do. It helps me convert my offers better because I not only program what I know works, but I program in my mentors like Mike Filsame is a dear friend, Frank Kern, Jeff Walker, like all these people I've learned from, Gillian Perkins, Sunny Leonard-Ducey's. Learned so much, and I've incorporated that into my system so that it talks like me and uses strategies that we know make sense. Pretty cool, right? Like just incredible instead of hiring some expensive copywriter. And it makes it possible for me to run a business without burning out. So I have the energy to do summits like this.
You're stealing my business, Amanda. You're stealing all the people that would hire me. Like, don't hire the expensive copywriter anymore. But yeah,
that's okay, Tony.
Great. This is great.
Well, Tony, you're so clever, though. You understand. Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing this AI summit. You already understand that, you need to adjust your business to make it still make sense because they need your what's up here to match the AI to get the output that works, because AI doesn't know everything, right? So AI supports my humanity. It really does. It doesn't replace it. And that's the key, right? All right. So let me just see here. Okay. Are you ready? This is what I was so excited to share with you. So let me show you something really surprising. Hold on to your seats because this is about to blow you away. At least I certainly hope it does, because I want you to really understand and notice what's happening here. Okay? You ready?
I'm hanging on.
Give me that thumb.
I'm hanging on. Crazy,
okay,
you hanging on?
Here we go.
Absolutely.
Look, this is that how to bake a cake video. And this is one that got over 6 million views, right? You can see it right there. And AI content. So that image for 11 plus years, I just had me in the kitchen. It's literally the same image, but then it was poor lighting and it was just me real. I had AI revamp it and it totally lifted up the views. Isn't that cool? And it's still me, but it's an AI me. But look at that income, right? So it's generated over $10,000 in ad revenue, which sounds amazing until you realize, but that's over 13 years. That's not a lot of money per year, right? So it sounds great, but it's like, I'd have to make a lot of videos then, right? And you can see my traffic where it was like flat and then it kind of lifted and it held steady for quite a few years. That was the part where I was like, oh my gosh, blown away that it was still driving traffic. Then I had my coma, and then I had the time to figure out what I was doing. And then you can see how it goes up and down as I'm testing titles and thumbnails and descriptions. Then COVID hit. That's a really big spike because nobody could go out and buy a cake. They had to suddenly learn how to bake it themselves, and my cake video was in the right position. And then I changed my channel and I changed it to helping others like yourselves create evergreen YouTube marketing systems. And the algorithm noticed, and although I still rank, it doesn't push it as often because it's not my perfect lead anymore, right? But anyway, pretty impressive. Now watch this, because this is going to really blow your mind. If you can see it, tell me if you can see it. This is a recent video that I just created just a couple of weeks ago. And this one only has 233 views. Right? And it's made $4.23 in ad revenue, which is amazing compared to the cake one. But this was for an affiliate product So of those 230, or at that, I had a more updated screenshot that I took here. So it's 260 views. It sent 84 of my perfect leads to this offer, made 11 sales. I want you to really focus. I'm going to show you a comparison in a minute, but really think about that. So in less than 2 months, it made $1,300, and the other one took 13 years to make $10,000. Is that making sense? Are you seeing it?
Yeah.
Look at this. Why are fewer views? Why could they make you more money? Now, it doesn't mean that you need fewer views. It just means you don't need to rely on a video going viral. And honestly, my how to bake a cake video went viral, but it wasn't even targeting the right person, or else it would have made a lot more money, right? It did help people bake a cake, so that was good. But look at this. So views, 6 million compared to 233 or 260 as the updated slide showed. 10,000 from the viral video, were $4 from the intentional. I call it my intentional video. The product sales, I sold about 28 of those books on the viral video. I made about $120 in affiliate commissions from the viral video. I've made over $1,300 from the intentional video in affiliate commissions. So the total revenue for the viral was $11,000, and the intentional video was $1,300, right? But look at the per view earnings. Look at this. So one view from my how to bake a cake video earns less than a penny, literally a tenth of a penny per viewer. Whereas the intentional video earns, each viewer is worth $5.61. How crazy is that? What do you think of that? Tell me, guys, what are your thoughts on that? Tony?
Oh my God.
That is
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
fantastic.
Right? It's a 3,000 times higher ROI.
It's mind-blowing.
Right? And this was for a very, very small market. Not people weren't even looking for this video yet, because it's literally just new, so people don't even know about it. So imagine as it grows, or imagine that this was your video and it was promoting your product. And let's say your product, so this was for like a $200 product, and I earned like a $100 commission on it, roughly, right? Imagine you're selling a product of like $400 or $900 or a couple $1,000, and you're getting this kind of ROI.
Huge.
I really, really hope that you can see the potential of doing it intentionally rather than accidentally. All right. So you don't need millions of views. You just need the right people watching the right message. It's literally your filtering system. Okay. All right. So I have a question. Does it surprise you that fewer views can make you more money? I was surprised by that.
It doesn't actually surprise me. Having been a marketer for 30 years, it's like the right message to the right market at the right moment makes all the difference, right?
Yes.
But what you've brought up here, Amanda, that is so crucial is that I hear this from people all the time who are trying to get views. Like they're trying to, like I got to put out more content. I got to get more views, because they're hoping that they're going to get sponsorships and ad revenue and other things. But, like what you've done is you've laser targeted your message, and you've created it in a way that really plays into human psychology. And you've capitalized that and turned it into a system that is a cash machine. This is brilliant.
And you said something that's really important, because like we're using this as a lead generator. And what are we doing with those leads? We're putting them on our own list. YouTube could just say, oh, you know what? I don't like your channel. I'm going to delete it.
Right.
But if I have them on my list, I can email them and say, I don't know what happened, but my channel got deleted. But no worries. Here's a new one you can follow me on. Right. But if they deleted me, I've got over 50,000 subscribers, which compared to the 6 million views is not great, but compared to, what other things, it's pretty impressive, right? Until it's gone. Like I don't own those. Right? It's, it's the couple thousand or whatever that go on your email list that you can warm and nurture and keep on using as your forever income system, right? Always making sure you're providing value, and then they want to stay on your list. It's that simple. It really is. All right. So let's move on. Because you saw me use a couple of GPTs, would you like to know really quickly, how to create your own GPT, right? One that works just for you and for what you need, because today is about content creation. So I want to help you create your own GPTs so that you can code it, and then it will just give you the output that you're looking for. All right, so we're going to write content that actually converts, right? We want to make sure that we're doing it the right way. So I'm going to show you how to build a custom GPT based on your voice and goals, and use projects to stay organized. So let's go in. I'm going to have to flip screens again. Go. There. Okay. So what you do is in ChatGPT, on the side here, you go to GPTs. And then it will list, this is where you can find all these different GPTs that people have made. A GPT is just, it's the same as a chat, but it has been pre-populated in the back end with instructions specific for the goal that you want it to do. That's all it is. So I'm going to head over to my GPTs, and then you'll get a chance to see all the GPTs that I've got. I've got a ton, and they're all related to YouTube marketing, right? So I'll load them all for you just so you can see them all. And the nice thing is that it puts them all on the side here so you can quickly access what you want. But we're going to create a new GPT. And this is all it does. It's really nice. So we're going to do a really quick one as an example. We're going to configure here. You can also press create, and then you can actually just talk to it and tell it what you want it to do, and it will do the configuring, or you can manually configure. So we'll give it a name. Actually, let's do the create, because then you can see it. I want to create, oops. And again, I'm correcting my spelling. Oops, I'll just ignore that. Okay, here we go. Let's see if it figures that one out. A GPT that helps bakers quickly adjust cake recipe measurements. Right, we'll keep it all still related to that. Okay. Okay, so here we go. So it's updating. You can see it's cranking that little, oh my gosh, wrench. There we go. Okay, great. Let's pick a name that fits this helpful baking assistant. It's also very supportive. It always talks in a very positive way. It's very motivating. You can literally use AI to help you through stressful situations and just have a chat, and it'll make you feel better. It's amazing. Recipe resizer. Oh, that works. That's good. Yep. Okay, we'll do that. And now it's generating a profile picture for us based on that. How cool is that? Like, we haven't done anything and we can readjust it, but look at that. Can you see that? Isn't that cool? Cake recipe. Oh my gosh. I'll open that over there so I can save that later. There we go. I love that. And so, yes, this is perfect. Perfect. And then you can see that it's put it on the side here. This is the side where you can see your GPT preview of it. All right, you're all set. That was pretty easy. Now let's look at configure and see what it put in here. So it put the name, the description, helps bakers quickly adjust and convert cake recipes. Here are the instructions. This GPT is designed to assist bakers in quickly, accurately adjusting cake recipe measurements. It can scale recipes up or down based on the desired servings and so on. So it's telling the GPT, like the tone should be friendly and confident, warm, helpful. It's telling them exactly, like avoid overcomplicating answers. It's giving the GPT the instructions. Pretty cool, right? And then here, conversation starters, so that you see those over here. I don't know if you can see my cursor when I'm moving my cursor. Can you see that? Yeah, you can? Okay, good. I prefer to just have one because I find that it's a little overwhelming to have too many. I honestly just love starting with like click to start or something like that.
Really
And then
nice
we
and
press
open-ended.
create, and then it will give us the link. There we go. Anyone with the link, save. And then we'll give it a really quick test. So we're going to view the GPT. Let's see. Can you see the GPT still? Yes, I think you can, right? Recipe resizer. We're going to click to start. Hi there. Ready to resize a cake? Okay, what are we working on today? Vanilla sponge cake recipe for 10 people. We'll do that. Great. So it even tells us we're going to need a 1-inch or a 9-inch pan. It gives, look at that, the ingredients. And pretty darn good, I have to say. The only thing I would not put in is the unsalted butter, because you don't put butter in a vanilla sponge cake, but that's all right.
It's
It
quite
gives the
thorough.
instructions. And I'll say, that's great, but I need it all in. Let's see, which one did it give us? It gave us, oh, it gave both actually right there. Never mind, I don't even need to say that. It gave both. Do you see that? 200 grams or 1 cup. And with the instructions, 180 degrees Celsius or 350 Fahrenheit. It already did it, just with that really simple prompt that we did. How cool is that? Can you see yourself making your own GPTs, right? Now, the ones I've created are a bit more coding involved because they're very specific things I want it to do, but that's pretty cool, right? I wanted to give you guys something. So I decided I'm not only going to give you that video script master GPT, right? That we went through and it wrote out the whole video, right? I'm also going to give you the Evergreen email master GPT, and you'll learn what that is and how it works in our next session that we're going to do on session day 4, I believe it is, right? And I'm also going to give you my complete 10-part, it's actually more like 13 parts right now. I should update that slide. YouTube SEO full course. It'll walk you through everything you need to know for setting up your YouTube SEO so that the search engines rank you in the first positions in search on YouTube and on Google. And it also will give you the video upload checklist so that before you upload your videos, you can just go, did I do this? Did I do this? Did I do that? Did I promote it there? And so on. And I really hope you enjoy that. And I believe Tony and Craig, you're going to actually just have a link right under this video that they can click on.
Yes,
Or they can
they'll
head
be
over
able to
to,
find it.
yeah, exactly. Or else you can see the link there. And of course, I just made it AI Summit's gift because it's only for you guys. Nobody else gets this. All right. I really hope that was valuable. And remember, you don't need more content. You really don't. You need the right filter, just like Tony said. YouTube equals long-term legacy. It's not just dropping away in your feed. It's long-term evergreen marketing for your business. AI is the power to actually do all the executions, to get it done, and to get it done quickly and well, to get it done so it converts well. And then you are the heart of the business. You are the reason your leads build that know, that like, that trust. They want to buy from you. You are the brains and the heart behind it all. You already, know more than you think. And perfect is not done, okay? Done is done. So don't go for perfect because that's just procrastination. Done is done, and you can get better each time. All right. And then I believe in you. And more importantly, I believe in the impact that your voice can make. All right. I hope that was fun. I'll hand it back over to you guys.
Wow. I am blown away by the simplicity but thoroughness of your presentation and your speaking style.
Oh, thank you.
And
I thought you were going to say of the AI. I was going to agree with you there, but sure, I'll agree. My presentation was wonderful.
yeah, and it's really interesting how you broke down the process that even a beginner can follow. I hope people watching fully implement on this, because what Amanda just showed there, you get in many paid programs that are actually quite expensive from experience.
I wanted to do something that would really help. So it's my pleasure. I'm happy to do that.
I'm curious, what are some outdated methods for YouTube, SEO, and just general promotion that are taught right now that are no longer effective from your vantage point?
That is such a great question. I'm really glad you asked. If you look on YouTube and you look for, how to do YouTube, you are going to see so many videos of experts out there saying tags don't matter. Not listen to them. All right. They do it on purpose as clickbait, and they do it as in when you set up your video, there is a section inside the back office for tags. And what they're meaning is that if you're just relying on putting in a bunch of tags, it's not effective. SEO needs to be across everything. But of course, you use the tag section too. It helps you categorize, but you need it in your title. You need it in your description. You need something relatable in the thumbnail, even in the metadata. So the metadata is that information behind the scenes. So for example, in your video thumbnail, you call your video thumbnail the name of your main key phrase. And then if you go into the properties of that thumbnail, this is before you upload it, there's a section in the details area where you can put in your key phrases again. Then when you upload it, the algorithm notices those things. They're just little extra tweaks that you can do. You don't have to do it, but every little piece that you do just gets more and more solid, right? If you're missing one here and you're missing one there, it's okay. But if you're only holding on to one, then you're out of luck, right? Then it'll just fall apart. I hope that answered that. So that's the main one I would like. Yes, SEO is very important, even when they call it tags. It's very important, but you need to balance it with value. It needs to be a balance between the computers, and the humans.
Awesome. I am curious if the rise of faceless videos and AI, and you see some videos getting a ton of views. If one were to either want to mix some of the content where they don't show their face all the time, or someone on this viewing this summit really has a channel that maybe it's more corporate, but they don't show their face as much, would your methods work similarly?
Absolutely. The thing is, you don't have to be on camera, but you do need your voice or your company's voice, that message, to come across in the videos. The videos that you're talking about that have gone like crazy viral, again, viral, you saw the stats, right? It's not intentional. As long as you make it intentional, as long as you still follow the strategy, get all the SEO in place, map out your videos so that it's bingeable and that it's triggering all the triggers we need it to trigger and it's warming up our audience to the sale, then it doesn't matter if you're actually on camera or if it's just your voice or if it's just your thoughts behind it. But there needs to be that human connection and that strategy in place. That's all. And I totally get a lot of people, especially when you're starting out, you're like, I don't want to be on camera. It's scary, right? It's scary. But right now, being on camera and being not perfect is so relatable and you actually do better. So you'll notice a lot of the really professional people are doing a lot more less professional videos because they notice people just want to see a real person like you. You want, not that you want to see me struggle, but you want to see when I do struggle that I'm breathing in my inhaler, right? You know what I mean? So don't let that stop you. Start without your face. If you can get to the point where you have a face, it does connect better. It really does. You're going to get more of the loyal fans and the long-term leads that will buy over and over again because they feel connected to you. But if that's not where you're at right now, that's okay. The strategies still work.
Yeah, that is so true because right now, because of all the AI and all the professional, I mean, we have so many apps that can just push out videos. The buyer, the audience somewhat can become a bit jaded by this. And in that, even when claims are made, they're not as credible. So whether it's in e-commerce or just affiliate videos or just normal videos, that relatability, that not so perfect angles and presentation, it really, really resonates. Amanda, I got one more question for you. And
Yes,
you
for sure.
mentioned in your presentation that for the last couple of years, you've had a channel for a while and that you end up changing your topic. If a creator has the channel and they want to pivot, would you advise that they start a brand new channel or they simply change their current one?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And it's one I struggled with for quite a while. And I particularly struggled because I didn't have the physical capacity to run multiple channels. And that's the only reason that I kept just one channel for now. And in the future, I will separate them out. It will work in your favor if your channel is only focused on one niche. But my channel does prove that even if you're all over the place, literally I have videos for my kids and cake decorating and teach children about money and then online business. If you use those strategies, you'll still rank, you'll still get those leads. But if your channel is niche, you're just going to get it so much better, right? Because people don't come and get confused. If you go to my channel, you'll see, actually, let me just quickly show, just to show the layout of how I did it to make it make sense. Okay, share a screen. This is the one I want. Okay, so you should see, and yes, you do, you see my channel here. So the way that I mapped it out to make sense for people, I'll just pause myself there with a very concerned look. I focused the top of my channel for the right lead, right? My Evergreen YouTube marketing lead. And then I tell my story as it goes down. Then YouTube puts this for you at the top that you can choose to have or not. I like it because then if people come to my channel because they're interested in cakes, the For You will show cake related videos, right? So that's my workaround. And then this is another little tip that I did. Instead of just having YouTube's newest uploads, I actually created a YouTube newest uploads category playlist intentionally so I can choose which videos are up there that I want, right? And it adds extra SEO as well because the playlists will actually rank for you. And then, of course, I start them with the YouTube and how to start an online business, how to launch, and so on. But then as you go down, that's where I start to, like I say, where is it here? You know, how I started it all. Where was it? Sorry, I'm Oh, it might be further down. How my Evergreen YouTube marketing journey began, right? And there's that video so that they can still find it. And then I've got a series on my experience of being in a coma and those videos go crazy, right? So I've made it available but not the focus, so that I'm focusing on online entrepreneurs. But those who find me through the other videos, it still will make sense. And this For You section is really helpful that way because it will help them. But yeah, I totally, instead of doing that, if you're going to have more niches, like just focus on one first, get it working for you. Then do another channel for another niche. Like eventually I will get to the stage where I just take all the financial literacy for kids and put it on one channel, all the cake stuff and put it on one channel. Like that cake video that blew up on me like that, it kind of ruined my SEO for a while because I was targeting the wrong people. And I had so many people unsubscribe every time I talk about YouTube or online business. They'd be like, I just wanted a cake recipe.
Yeah.
So I hope that answered that question for you.
Well, the length of the video and generally how long should the introduction be?
Those are really great questions. So the length of the video and the length of the introduction, you really want like your hook maximum 10 seconds. Like you just really need to immediately let them know, yes, I'm in the right place. And then as far as your introduction, your credibility, why should they even listen to you? Again, keep it down to like 5-10 seconds. Like keep it short, but just make it related. And the really cool thing is that AI can do that. You just give AI your credibility and you say, my video topic is this, make it relate, right? So in my How to Bake a Cake video, I would say, and I've been earning awards at fairs locally for years now, something like that. Why should I listen to her? Oh, she might know what she's talking about, right? If it was the YouTube, it's like, and my YouTube videos kept driving traffic to me while I was in a coma. Again, it's just that, why should they listen to me? Now, the length of a video, the really honest answer, as long as it needs to be. So don't add in fluff. But if your video needs to be longer because there's very valuable information, they will stick around. It's how you map it out. And we're not looking at ad revenue because they have if it's over 8 minutes, then we can add more ads. We're not looking at ad revenue. And on that note, another really key thing to know is you might actually want to just turn off ads, because think of this. If you went into the store and you went to buy a Coca-Cola and you saw a Pepsi sign on it, wouldn't that confuse you? So if somebody's coming to my cake video and then they get an ad for, look how to make this vanilla sponge cake and go over here, then they'll probably leave before they watch mine. So, it depends what the intention is of your video. If it's just a vlog, go ahead. But if you're targeting a specific call to action, you might want to take it off.
You have another question, Craig?
Yeah, one more
The third
actually.
last one.
For many businesses posting, some of them may, so whether it's a small business owner and they could post maybe a couple of times a month, or whether it's an actual team that has a marketing department and they're posting several videos per week. What do you see among your clients with regards to the ideal frequency as to one should post? Does it really matter for your method?
Yeah, no, that's such a good question, because it also often causes that overwhelm. Like, I can't be posting every day. And it's about building in a strategy. So the short answer is try to upload a video at least once a week while you're intentionally trying to drive traffic, because that does trigger the algorithm. I did a 90-day challenge with my channel and my kids way back, and my cake video went from no views, no income, and it just suddenly went viral because every day for 90 days, I posted a video and my 2 kids each posted a video. You do not need to post 3 videos a day, just to be honest. But it showed me that just being consistent. And the key thing is that even though we were posting all these videos and there were multiple niches, we consistently posted the same niches. So my daughter kept posting about Barbies. My other daughter kept posting about D&D. It was always consistent, right? Or Minecraft at the time. And I posted, financial literacy and cake decorating. So even though there were multiple niches, there were only a limited number of multiple niches. And because we kept on giving it more and more of the same videos, it was like, oh, this channel is actually an authority for these different niches because it's the only niches, that kind of thing. Aim for once a week. If you want just a consistent, you can do it faster. If you've got a team and you're using AI and you can do it faster, that's great. Try not to upload more than 1 per day, simply because you want to give the algorithm that nice chunk of time, that nice 24 hours to really categorize and find who your perfect lead is before confusing it with the next video. All right, that's my only caveat, is give your videos at least 24 hours before posting the next. Once a week is perfectly fine. Once a month, as long as it's consistent, is okay, but you are doing slower. You're moving much slower. And the nice thing about once a week, choose 1 week a month, batch your videos, right? And then just the next week, edit them. And now you've got your next month's worth already. And you have all the other time to just run your business.
Wow. Wow.
Amanda, that's fantastic. And one of the other things that I wanted to ask you is the algorithm impacted by the title or the actual content most?
The content most, but the titles will absolutely trigger, and the description. You can absolutely, but if it realizes, and especially now that AI is really clever at figuring out what exactly you're talking about, if it's like you've got the title and the description all about baking a cake, but you open up the video and it's about Barbie instead, it'll be like, incongruent. It might jump at first, and then it'll be like, but people are dropping off. Really what it comes down to is you need the viewers to feel satisfied and continue watching and give those triggers. That's what gives you that long-term success.
And if the reverse of that, if you have your title wrong, but you have really good content, let's say you do a video and it's all about mindset and leadership, but the title is, Thursday was a bad day. Like, what does YouTube do with something like that? Do you know?
That's the best part of all, because the title can be changed at any time. The description can be changed at any time. The tags, the comment, like all those things can be changed at any time. What you can't change are the video. Sure, you can go into the editor and you can edit it a bit. You cannot re-upload a video on that same video. You'd have to start fresh. You can't re-upload the metadata that you put in the video file and the thumbnail file. So it's important that the content is most important. The rest you test. Like even in YouTube, you can upload 3 different thumbnails and it will test for you, and it will test specifically the retention. Which thumbnail finds the right viewer that stays watching, because that's the most important metric, right? Really cool. You can use tools like TubeBuddy that would then test, well, which one gets the best click-through rate. But honestly, if YouTube is focusing on retention, we should focus on retention because we want YouTube to work for us, right? Yeah, so no, I get excited if the thumbnail and the description or sorry, the title and description, even the thumbnail are not great, because those can be changed and tested.
Sure. That's great. Amanda, you have just gone above and beyond and delivered so much value today. I just want to encourage anyone watching, if you're not VIP, the investment in the VIP just for this session alone, like 10, 100 times value. Because Amanda, seriously, as Craig said, we've seen courses and trainings that people pay a ton of money for, that you delivered so much. Literally, I'm just amazed at how you blessed our audience today. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
My pleasure. And I'm really excited for our next session, where we're going to dive even deeper into the actual marketing sales strategy behind it all. So it's going to tie together so nicely. And yeah, that's why I'm excited to give you those GPTs, and go ahead and make your own and, have fun with it.
Great. And we'll have contact information below too for anybody that wants to get a hold of you. But I'm sure if they take advantage of your gifts, you're going to get on Amanda's list, because she's a brilliant marketer, and you should follow her example to do that as well. So any final words?
And if you don't want to stay on the list, that's fine. Go ahead and subscribe. Again, and that's the thing too. When people come on your list, don't feel bad if they unsubscribe. It just wasn't right for them. It's okay. It's another filtering system. All right. So it's okay. Thank you again. I'm really excited for our next session as well. And I'm just excited for the whole summit. Take advantage of every single lesson in the summit. You're going to get so much out of this. And remember, most importantly, perfect is not done. Okay,
right.
done is done. And AI makes it a lot faster.
Much. Thank you so much, Amanda. You're
welcome.
Value bombed today, and we're so appreciative. Everybody, this has been another session of the AI Business Jumpstart Summit. Like Tony said, this session alone is worth several times what the VIP ticket is. So I'd really implore you to upgrade. Everyone, see you in the next session.
Yeah, we'll see you next time. Thanks so much.